The Mediterranean Sea swallowed the ashes of Adolf Eichmann on the 1st of June, 1962. The State of Israel had orchestrated his execution with meticulous precision. He was hanged, cremated in a specially built oven, and his remains were scattered beyond territorial waters. The logic was clinical. There would be no grave to visit, no soil for neo-Nazis to worship. They believed that by dissolving the body, they could dissolve the legacy. They were wrong. To understand why the ghost of Eichmann refused to fade, one must look not at the gallows in Ramla, but at a living room in Buenos Aires. For a decade, the architect of the Holocaust did not live as a fugitive in the shadows. He lived as a celebrated patriarch in the sun. When Adolf Eichmann arrived in Argentina in 1950, followed later by his wife Vera and their sons, they did not bury their past. They curated it. While the world hunted for a monster, the Eichmann children attended local schools using their real surname. They did not hide behind the alias of Ricardo Clement, the name their father used at the Mercedes-Benz factory. To his sons, Klaus, Horst, and Dieter, the man who organized the logistics of genocide was simply a father who commanded respect. They saw him shake hands with the German expatriate community. They saw him treated with dignity. Within the walls of their home, there was no guilt. There was only a distorted sense of pride. It was this arrogance that eventually shattered their sanctuary. The eldest son, Klaus, had inherited his father's ideology but lacked his caution. In the late 1950s, Klaus began courting a young woman named Sylvia Hermann. Desperate to impress her, he boasted about his father's true identity. He spoke of the high-ranking Nazi official who had served the Reich. He did not know that Sylvia's father, Lothar Hermann, was a blind survivor of the Nazi regime. Lothar Hermann sat in darkness, listening to the young man brag about mass murder at his dinner table. The blind man saw what the Argentine government refused to see. He alerted the prosecutors. He alerted the Israelis. The end of Adolf Eichmann's freedom began with a gesture of domestic tenderness. Mossad agents, watching the house on Garibaldi Street, needed confirmation. On March 21, 1960, they watched the man known as Ricardo Clement bring home a bouquet of flowers. It was a small, mundane act, but it was the 25th wedding anniversary of Adolf and Vera Eichmann. The flowers confirmed the target. Weeks later, agents bundled him into a car and smuggled him out of the country. Yet, even in the face of undeniable evidence, the family's loyalty did not waver. When Vera Eichmann petitioned the Argentine courts to demand her husband's return, she officially signed documents admitting that Ricardo Clement was indeed Adolf Eichmann. She destroyed his cover to save his life. The trial in Jerusalem exposed the mechanics of the Holocaust to the world. Survivors spoke. The globe watched. But back in Buenos Aires, the Eichmann sons were not watching with shame. They were watching with rage. Following their father's execution in 1962, the narrative should have ended. Instead, it radicalized. Klaus and Horst did not retreat into obscurity. They formed a neo-Nazi terror cell. Police raids on their properties uncovered swastika flags, firearms, and Molotov cocktails. Intelligence reports from 1962 revealed a plot that defies comprehension. The sons of the man who transported millions of children to gas chambers were planning to bomb a school bus carrying Jewish children in Argentina. They sought to continue the work their father had left unfinished. The older brothers lived and died within the prison of their father's ideology. Klaus died in Germany in 2015, unrepentant. Horst died in Argentina, a committed Nazi to his last breath. Dieter, the third son, chose a life of absolute silence, neither confirming nor denying his allegiance. Only the youngest, Ricardo, broke the cycle. He was merely 5 years old when his father was captured. He had no memory of the glory days of the Third Reich, only the shame of the aftermath. Ricardo eventually moved to Germany, became a renowned archaeologist, and publicly condemned his father. He was the anomaly. He proved that biology is not destiny. However, the story of the Eichmann family leaves us with a chilling conclusion. The Israelis succeeded in scattering the ashes, but they could not scatter the idea. Hatred does not require a grave to survive. It requires only a dinner table, a willing audience, and the silence of a family that refuses to look at the blood on its hands. The physical body can be destroyed, but the inheritance of hate is far more difficult to extinguish.